What's going on, guys? It's your boy Trolltech here for another fucking video. Today we're gonna be watching so today we're watching Rise of BANGTAN Chapter 2, which is the fan-made BTS documentary. We started it, I think we watched the first part like a month and a half ago. It's been a while. It's been like maybe 2 months since we watched that. So I'm gonna get back to doing this. I just remember being absolutely blown away by part 1, or chapter 1, sorry. So I'm really excited to get into this. Chapter 1 was really just kind of a lot of background stuff about the creation of BTS. So I think this chapter is going to get more into like the specifics of like the actual journey. So I'm really excited for this. And yeah, I guess without further ado, let's just get straight into this. Let's move this over here, change the scene. Okay, full screen. Rise of BANGTAN Chapter 2 begin. Here we go. So yeah, I think this is gonna be like kind of their debut onwards, because the first chapter was more about like the creation of BTS and how they were recruited and all that other stuff. Okay, let's turn the captions on. English. Here we go. Wait. Is that what ARMY stands for? Really? Adorable representative MC for you. Really? I never thought to Google it. I've never thought to Google the meaning of ARMY before. Interesting. I don't know why. I didn't think it was an acronym, to be fair. I thought it was just like ARMY was just a word. I didn't know it was an acronym. Okay, interesting. Adorable representative what's the MC stand for? Like MC as in like, okay. Anyway, it's interesting. An ARMY edit. Here we go. Okay, here we go.
I close my eyes. For a long time, I've dreamed this dream. Life is a zoo.
One sec, let's turn the volume down a bit.
In the jungle, we got to find and get our weapons.
Right, the editing is so fire. I forgot how fire the editing was on this series.
We're the kids who are too cool for school and too bad to be good. So I'm gonna fight against all the prejudice.
They're so tiny, bro, in these early videos.
Fight for my music. Because this cold world has no more dream.
The Rise of BANGTAN, Chapter 2, begin.
안녕하세요. 1일 DJ를 맡은 방탄소년 네? 다시 하겠습니다. 안녕하세요. 1일 VJ를 맡은 방탄소년단의 진입니다.
I'm sorry.
방탄소년단의
But he said VJ, I got a different image in my head. I'm not even gonna say it. But yeah.
매력에 빠져보도록 하시죠.
Making a debut after a long preparation, how can the singer and album make an appeal to the general public?
Korea has around 4,000 official labels / entertainment companies / businesses that make or produce albums.
K-pop is so competitive. You have hundreds of groups debut every year.
Yeah, like even this last couple of months, like there's been like 4 or 5 at least I've seen just on TikTok, 4 or 5 new groups that have debuted, right? You know, it's just like they're constantly debuting. So like for a group to be good, a successful K-pop group, it's got to be so much work. You know, it's got to be so much. I just realized it's Eric Nam. It's got to be so much work though, to do that, because there's so much competition. You know what I mean? At least as a Western artist, for example, you know, you can carve out a level of success as an independent artist. Even if you're not well known, you can still carve out a level of success. But K-pop is a business at the end of the day. So it's like, you need to, if you can't carve out that major level of success, the group might disband, or, you know, it might just fizzle out, you know, because it's a business first. So I just find that really crazy. That I find that more crazy now when you think of like those really successful groups like BTS, like Stray Kids, like, you know, I don't know, ATEEZ and 17 and all these groups that are really like really well known. It's just like they had to go through the trenches before they could reach that.
It's, you know, maybe 1% is going to stay around for a few years.
Korea has a relatively small home market, so it has to think about developing a product that will appeal to overseas markets.
Yeah, 100%.
Do not like or appreciate that they try to pigeonhole like K-pop and like the Korean music industry as like this super like factory.
Oh, that's the guy that was
like.
That's the guy that was on the Megaverse track, right? Oh no, he wasn't on the track, but he appeared. There was like a cameo. I think, was it Megaverse? I think it was Megaverse.
The Korean music industry as like this super like factory corporate like machine. Because where the hell do you think we got that from?
Up until a certain point, I think we were very much influenced by the Western. I'm not saying that it's right or that it's wrong, but it's just what needed to be done in order to branch out.
I mean, that's been around for a very, very long time, and it happens in everywhere else too. They only focus on like a few specific cases where that happens, and then make it seem like every single part of this scene here is like that.
There are systematic, rotten problems in the idol trainee system. The way that it's become like a simplified, generalized narrative about the dark side of K-pop and how this bland, obvious statement seems to resonate in headlines shows that there's a problem in the way Western media perceives this new
it's racism.
Asian
it's racism. It's like there's no other explanation for it. Like, obviously, as they're saying, there's issues in the K-pop industry, but there's issues in every industry, in every entertainment industry world over. You know, I'll guarantee you Hollywood has much more skeletons in the closet than K-pop ever could. You know, like K-pop is new at this skeletons in the closet thing, relatively. Hollywood got that shit on lockdown, you know? So, it's clear just like, the Western media seeing a threat in the growing Asian market of like entertainment and targeting that. It's just racism. That's what it is.
You know, there's a misconception that Korean industry is like somehow more corporate. And no, even if there are certain things that they have to do, like choreography and stuff like that, right? They still have enough room to, you know, write songs and be creative.
Yeah.
Heavy metals and the rock stars, you know what I mean?
Oh, talking JK.
K-pop. Now you're gonna have some characters. They wear crazy makeup and all that hair, and so this is what's happening with K-pop. Rock stars reborn. You know what I mean? Yeah,
like so if you think about it, like the kind of mania that at the time, like your Elvis Presleys and your Beatles and your Freddie Mercurys, like these guys, right? These really heavy personality dudes, that kind of cult following. It's just K-pop is another rendition of that. And that's what makes it so successful, is because it gets that magic of the musician being this larger than life character. And that's what K-pop, the industry at least, understands. And that's why that idea of like seeing the K-pop idols personality and all this other stuff is so important, and what makes K-pop so kind of attractive to people, because it goes back to that whole like I said, Elvis Presley, Beatles, Freddie Mercury, like these big, like Michael Jackson, like these big fucking personalities with these like dressed in cool ways, you know what I mean? So it really is like K-pop isn't doing anything different to what the Western kind of music scene did. So like for the Western media to, you know, say, oh, it's toxic in this way or this way, it's like, okay, look at yourself first, because these guys are just emulating what's come before them and taking what works and what doesn't work and, you know, kind of picking and choosing there. So yeah, I agree with exactly what Tiger JK is saying here. Like that's what makes K-pop, I think, something people like, is because it goes back to that whole idea of the rock stars and, you know, the characters within music. It's just, it makes it interesting to interact with it.
Living as a K-pop star.
If you turn on your TV
NBC
any day of the week here in
headquarters.
Seoul, you'll find a K-pop show to watch.
BANGTAN.
It's a weekly rapid-fire blast through the latest crop of K-pop acts. These artists are already signed to record labels, but it's a competitive show, a bit of a cross between Top of the Pops and X Factor. Winning.
Oh, these are like survival shows and shit? Yeah.
Winners are selected through votes from the live audience as well as the viewers at home.
음악 방송을 통해서 이제 홍보도 할 수 있고 또 그리고 생방송으로 보통 진행이 되기 때문에 사실 굉장히 좋은 기회고.
It gives them the opportunity to get exposure and shit. Yeah, that's true. Like, imagine the stress of going on these, because like you've got to get it right. You got to get it right on, like, you got one chance.
The rookie hip-hop group BTS are in the spotlight, and the members are waiting for their turn. Unlike other rookie stars, they greeted the camera in a relaxed way.
2023년 7월 10일 V의 첫 단독 모드. 짝짝짝짝.
안녕하세요. V입니다. 나이는 19살이고요. 방탄에서 보컬을 맡고 있습니다.
사람들이 많이 놀랬던 것 같은데 6명 그룹일 줄 알았던 방탄이 7명이.
Oh, were they originally supposed to be 6 members?
오래전부터 멤버들이랑 같이 생활했다. 그리고 크리스마스 때도 같이 있었고 랩몬 형 졸업 때도 갔고 단체로 찍을 때 6명만 나왔을 뿐이지 사실
Oh, interesting.
나는 카메라에만 안 나왔을 뿐이지 벽에 기대서 형들을 계속 지그시 바라보고 있었다.
Interesting.
앞으로 많은 것을 보여드리는 방탄소년단.
So before this, people had the idea that BTS was 6 members because of like V not being in the vlog. Interesting. That's actually kind of fascinating. I couldn't imagine BTS without V though. He's like one of my favorite members. K-pop stars tend to perform in these shows several times a week until the end of their arc. Okay.
네, 잠시만요.
감사합니다. 열심히 하겠습니다.
내리는 건 포커스 아웃.
Yeah, imagine being drenched and having to wear leather, bro. That'd be fucking terrible. Knowing networks will shit, I missed it. Wait, one sec. Oh my god, what's with this mouse? Sorry. Knowing networks will only invite them if they're good for ratings. The debut stage impact is critical for the... Okay, yeah, so the stress of that, it's gonna be up here, you know? Especially if you contextualize it to BTS is not part of a big company at this point. Because at this point, Hybe, I believe, is the company, is not the massive or the juggernaut that we know them to be today, right? If this is like pre-BTS success, like massive success, then Hybe is still a relatively small, emerging company, right? They don't have the success or the pull and strength in the industry that they have today. So the stress would be even double because they don't have like a big company like, I don't know, JYP or YG or any of those big companies to kind of I don't know, rest their back on a bit. Like, this is their chance. This is their one chance to do it. Like, they've got to do it. There's no other way this is going to happen because they don't have a big company to, like, catch them when they fall at this point. So the stress would be even higher than normal. To be fair, though, even with the guys with the big companies, if they don't do well, those big companies aren't going to help them out. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I do feel like there's an added stress if you aren't part of one of those big kind of K-pop companies. Wait, who are these guys? MB, okay.
잘해야 돼요. 기회는 단 한 번뿐이야.
지금 얼굴 풀로 잡고 있어요. 왔어요? 얼굴이 너무 가까이 잡지 마세요. 메이크업 중. 뭐라고 한마디만 더 해줘요. 사랑해요, 방탄. 안녕. 처음에는 쑥스러운 인사였지만 사실 지금도 쑥스러워요.
My man's about to pass out. Oh, EXO. So if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but at the point where BTS is first coming to the stage and, you know, first kind of taking their first steps in the industry, EXO was like the BTS of the time. BTS of the time in the way where when you've thought of K-pop, you thought of EXO, right? At the time, at this time. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it was. Like, EXO was like the big thing in K-pop at the time. And they still are big now, you know, because I know of EXO, but I'm just saying, like, they were... Now when you think of K-pop, BTS immediately in your head, right? Even, like, if you watch my first video, I talked about how, even though this was my first time getting into K-pop, I knew about BTS already. So, like, BTS is, like, the staple of what non-K-pop people, when you think of, like, when non-K-pop people are thinking of, like, K-pop, BTS is in their head. The word BTS, they might not know the members or anything, but the group name, everyone knows, right? And I feel like EXO was probably that, at least based on what I've seen and what I've heard, EXO was that when BTS was first debuting and shit. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
감사합니다. 방탄. 안녕하세요.
그 데뷔 전부터 있잖아요. 임승훈이 아주 자자했던 방탄소년단이 오늘 M 카운트다운에서 데뷔 무대를 가져요. M 카운트다운 최초 공개 핫 데뷔 방탄.
Wait, so is this their first stage? Interesting. That's crazy. Sweet, that haircut, that Namjoon's haircut, I can never get over just how bad it is. I love my boy, but that haircut was not doing him any favors. I don't know if he chose to get that or the company decided, yeah, this is what we're gonna do, or the stylist, I mean, but it was not a good idea.
막연히 꾸밈이 없는 상태로 10대를 보내다가 부모님이 공무원에 뭔가 10대들에게 이제 정말 네 꿈이 뭐냐 이걸 물어보고 싶었어요 정말.
구호에 맞춰서 응원도 해주시고 정말 감동받았습니다. 너무 감사했어요.
It's crazy how, like, pro quality they were from day one. You know what I mean?
Our song, No More Dreams.
Because it's like there's groups that you see, right? And when they first start off, you're like, okay, they're good, but you can see like you can see kind of chinks in their performance, in their armor, and just like being like, okay, there's something that's not right. With BTS, it's like I look at their early performances, and yeah, I can definitely see the way they've grown from like their earlier performances to their later stuff. I can definitely see that. But even with me seeing the massive like improvements I've seen, even from day one, I could look at their performances and be like, that's a professional performance. You know what I mean? And I just find that really interesting, just how kind of crisp they are from day one.
이 시대의 감성을 담는다는 거예요. 특히 젊은 사람들의 청년들이 지금
Jimin was obsessed with showing his abs though. I guess he still is, to be honest.
근데 그런 것들을 참 잘 담아요.
첫 무대를 봤는데 너무 멋있어가지고. 감사합니다.
Super Junior. I've heard of that group before. Oh. Imagine how light you gotta be to able to do that.
편견과 억압에서 이제 상당히 저희 세대의 생각과 가치를 지켜내겠다는 그런 심오한 뜻이 담겨 있습니다.
Oh, those transitions, crazy.
防弾少年団の活動を応援しています。
Amazing. Brilliant.
한 번에 끝냈어요. 진짜.
불이라서 무서웠어요.
대성공. 오예. 오예.
잘하겠습니다. 내일 잘할 자신 있어요.
It's crazy how introverts are right word. It's crazy how soft-spoken and introverted Jin is in these early clips. Like he's like that anyway, but like now when they're doing the variety show stuff and stuff like that, he's loud and he makes jokes, and like here you can see he's much more soft-spoken, a bit more serious, which is really interesting to see with Jin. You can definitely see he's a bit more self-conscious than the other members in the early stages of things, which is really fascinating to see, because like to me Jin's probably he's one of the most, like, they're all talented, but he's like one of the most talented members. I think from day one I've been blown away by his talent, just especially with the knowledge that he didn't really like sing or anything before getting recruited and shit, so it's even more impressive. But you can definitely see he's a bit more, I don't want to say it's not that he's not confident, but there's definitely a bit more hesitance. Not hesitance, that's not the right word. It's a bit more self-consciousness, I feel like, with Jin as opposed to the other guys in the early stages.
멤버들 연습 기간이요 3년 정도라고 들었습니다. 데뷔 전에 블로그를 통해서 직접 만든 프리스타일 랩, 자작곡도 올리고 기존 곡 위에 랩을 얹어 새로운 편곡한 믹스테이프도 뭐 올리고 굉장히 이슈가 됐었습니다. 요거는 누가 많이
They did like
건가요?
covers and shit.
저와 이제 랩몬스터가 가장 많이
Well, not
했는데요.
covers,
블로그를
but
통해서 네 자작곡도 많이 공개하고 또 저희들이 로그라는 저희들이
Oh, so they did this stuff before debut. Okay, that's really cool.
블로그를 통해서 올리고 하고.
I guess that's probably what got people a lot of hype for BTS's debut then.
바로 올렸어요.
아, 그냥 올렸어요?
Just raw footage.
팬분들이 많이 좋아하시더라고요.
아, 그때부터 좀 팬이 있었군요.
네.
그래서 연관 검색어에 데뷔 언제 해?
Ah, okay, that's why they had a lot of like anticipation.
처음으로 학교를 간 적이 있었는데 학교에 되게 이제 기대를 하고 이제 데뷔도 했고 이제 친구들의 반응이 궁금해서 잔뜩 기대가 팍 불어서
Yeah.
이제 내가 원하지 않는 그런 밋밋한 반응들. 평범한 반응들. 진짜 왔어? 이런 평범한 일상의 반응들.
예.
원하지 않았다 정말로. 씁쓸한 현실을 겪은 그런 날이 있었는데 저 당시에는 우리가 막 방송을 마음대로 못 깔 때.
I think it shows the reality of the situation, like, you know, in Korea specifically. They don't, like, the normal dudes aren't gonna give a fuck if you're a K-pop idol. Like, they might give a fuck if you're at the level BTS is, or, like, you know, these big groups now they're at. If you met one of them, it would be pretty crazy. But, like, let's say you go to high school in Korea, right? And your mate suddenly, I don't know, debuts to a new group. You're not going to really give a shit because you're like, oh, okay, cool, you debuted, cool. You're a K-pop idol, but, like, you're unknown, you know, no one knows you yet, so who cares? Like, it'd be like one of those things where it's like, oh, cool, and then you not talk about it again. Like, that's just the reality of that situation. Like, I feel like if you're the guy that's debuting, you're probably like, everyone's going to be so excited and just be like, oh, that's crazy and shit. But in the reality of the situation is, they're not going to give a fuck after like 5 seconds. Like, that's the reality of the situation. Like, let's say you get signed, let's use it in the context of a Western context. Let's say you get signed to a label, right? You got a couple of songs out, whatever, you get signed to a label. Then you go to school the next day and, you know, you mention, like, everyone knows about it and they're like, oh, yeah, I heard he got signed and stuff. They'll talk about it for maybe 5 minutes and then they will be like, okay, let's move on now. Let's move on to, like, let's go play soccer at the fields or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality of the situation.
방송을 막 사람 닫혀 있으면 우리 못 나가고 그럴 때도 있었어.
또 요즘은
So they had a lot of tough. It took a while, like,
심각성, 말의 중요성에
you know, people have been saying this in the comments for a while for BTS. Like, when they were first coming out, it really, they had to, like, smash it. Like, they had to push it because it was really, you know, they were getting hate, they weren't getting opportunities, like, and so on and so forth. Especially because I think a lot of what the content of their songs is, especially the early songs, is kind of criticizing the status quo a lot. Like, for example, that No More Dream, that song where they talk about, you know, how kids should have dreams and parents are forcing their own dreams on their kids and all that other stuff. I think, like, they always do songs like this where they're questioning the status quo, especially in a country like South Korea where it's a conservative country, right? So I think that's a large reason probably why they had they probably got a lot of hate, was because they just had no fear as well. Anyway, let's continue.
많이 느낀다. 정말 얼마 안 되는 네임밸류지만 인신 공격도 많이 받았었고, 뭐 일방적으로 정말 밑도 끝도 없이 까내리는.
Wait, okay, wait, let's see. I just want to see what is their name or so. Whoever named them BTS should be scholars. Wow, that's crazy. It's not like they're okay. That's crazy. Like, why? Who gets that angry about a K-pop group's name? They should have named the members Bulletproof. Wow, that's crazy. What the fuck? People actually commented this? I don't know them well. Aiming for Big Bang is too high. Okay, so Big Bang were like the main guys. Okay, I thought it was EXO, but Big Bang. Okay, I remember people talked about this group, Big Bang. Their name sounds like a J-pop group from the 80s. Is that a bad? I don't know if that's a hate comment. Like, why is that a bad thing? But this comment here, this one is fucked. That's a fucked comment. That's crazy. Like, it's so crazy how easy it is for people to just hate on something. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you have this, like, what, this comment here, sorry, let's go back. This comment here, whoever named them should be scholars, it's not like they're boys. Like, why are you that angry, bro, about a K-pop group's name? Like, why are you that angry? Like, it's not that serious, cuz.
일방적으로 정말 밑도 끝도 없이 까내리는 비난들 정말 앞으로 얼마나.
Oh my, this comment's fucking crazy. This comment is crazy. Bro, what the fuck? These comments are fucked.
많이 받을지 모르지만 얼마나 많이 받을지 모르지만 얼마나.
Wait, what was that last one?
까내리는 비난들 정말 앞으로 얼마나 많이 받을지 모르지만.
There's so many kids idols these days. They'll probably be forgotten too. Okay, that's like, it's still a hate comment, but it's a bit more realistic. Like, to be fair to that, like that, still commenting that is fucked up. But like, it's kind of a reality. Like, well, not with BTS, but in general, like there is so many idols these days, and unfortunately, like 60% of them just kind of disappear into obscurity or disappear from the industry completely. Still a fucked up thing to write, but at least it's not as crazy as the other ones. And obviously they proved them wrong, so, you know, because they are not forgotten. The opposite.
괜찮다, 괜찮고 나 까고 수많은
Instead, they've dominated the industry.
수많은 비난을 받겠지만 항상 당당하고 항상 나는 이런 사람.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, bro.
우리는 진짜 괜찮은
You gotta always be honest with who you are.
이제 와서 무슨 학생들의 반항 같은 이야기를 컨셉으로 들고 나오냐?
Exactly what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. Like that, I think it shakes the status quo, especially in a country like South Korea, where parental respect and that type of shit is so like valued and so important, and like you respect your elders and your youngers. The youngers must respect the elders. Doesn't matter what kind of person they are. That's just the way it is, right? The reason I say that is because like Turkish culture, which I have intimate experiences, is very similar to that. And so like I can see where I can see why they got hate. I don't agree with the fact that they got hate, obviously. I can see why it happened though, because in my own experience, for example, if you, let's say someone older than me is being a dickhead, right? And I straight up, because I'm straight up as well, and I straight up I tell my elders if they're being dickheads, I'm like, you're being a dickhead right now. And through a Turkish context, I remember everyone instantly turned attacking me. Like even the people that weren't involved in the argument, everyone was like, "Oh, how could you say that? He's older than you, and this and that and this." Everyone got furious. It was so weird. I was like maybe 19 or 20. And everyone just got furious at me, even though I was clearly in the right, and everyone admitted, like after the conversation, that I was in the right. But it's that instant reaction when someone younger is kind of criticizing someone who's older and supposed to be wiser and knows the world more, whatever, that, you know, that bullshit idea. It's when that criticization happens, and then it's the instant reaction is anger and, oh, how dare he? Oh, he's young, he doesn't know anything. How dare he stand up to me? Or how disrespectful, that type of shit, right? So I can see why in a country like South Korea, who's very similar in Turkey in the context of like the conservative side of it, I can see why BTS got a lot of hate, because they were constantly judging the status quo and talking about how the world could be improved and how behaviors, just because it's tradition, shouldn't continue and all that type of shit, right? I can understand, it makes sense that they got hate. I don't agree with it, obviously, but if you look at the society that they're in, it makes sense.
비판도 굉장히 많이 받았던 것 같습니다.
Yeah.
하지만 저는 그들이 자신의 이야기를 하는 것이 무엇보다 중요하다고 생각했습니다.
Respect to him for allowing this.
Whole lyric is actually a
like respect for what's his name, Bang PD. Sorry, PD is like producer. Bang Siuk. Like respect to him for allowing them to kind of explore their own ideas, and you know what I mean, and exploring. Because I feel like a lot of guys that are the leaders or the head of these K-pop companies would be scared of the backlash to the company and be like, okay, can you not talk about this thing and like soften the blow a bit? You know what I mean? So it respect to him to being just like, yeah, just run wild, do what you want.
I think this whole lyric is actually a message to the me in the past. When I was a middle school student, I studied really well, and I was a really smart and good student in the school. Well,
we know he's really smart anyway.
Good score, and the adults and parents just praised me. And the adults told me that you will success. But I had no dream. I had no other dreams.
Yeah, you were just going through the motions.
평범한 학생이었던 친구들이 아이돌로 데뷔를 하고 꿈과 다른 현실에 좌절도 하고 점점 스타가 되어가는 여러 과정을 거치면서 그들이 가졌던 진솔한 고민들이 음악에 담겨졌습니다. 이렇게 그들의 내면을 표현한 메시지가 같은 세대를 살아가고 있는 팬들의 마음에 닿았고
Yeah, I think that's why BTS is so successful, is like young people, like my generation and younger, they're kind of, because we are a product of boomers, right? Like a lot of our parents, like in our age, like people in the BTS age range, let's say, a lot of the parents that we had were boomers, right? So they had this preconceived idea on how you would live your life. You went to school, you went to university, you got a job, you got married, you had kids, and you died. That was your life, according to the generation that raised millennials and Gen Z and stuff like that. But our generation, that's it. Our idea of life is not that. And we have all these other ideas and dreams and ambitions and aspirations that we, all these things that we want to do. But because a lot of people in my generation and a bit younger a lot of them have been like, oppressed isn't the right word, but kind of our ideas and dreams and aspirations are kind of being pushed down and pigeonholed into something that our parents want for us, right? So we're kind of almost in this prison cell for a lot of like our teenage years. So a group like BTS, who sings all those frustrations and anxieties and shit that, like, our age range experienced by being raised by parents with these old-fashioned values that don't really work in the modern world. I think that's what really connects BTS with the fan base, is because they get it. They get it. I think that's really why you meet a lot of like a lot of ARMY will be people in their like early 20s to like late 20s or like teenage years, because the music really melds well with the struggle that you're going through at that age, especially if you have parents that are traditionally old-fashioned. Like, that's not to say there aren't older ARMY, but I'm just saying generally.
너무 바쁘고 힘들지만 내 꿈을 이뤄가고 있고 뭔가 이 시발점에서 첫걸음을 잘 내딛는 것 같아서 기분이 너무 좋다. 나는 그래서 현재를 좀 즐기면서 동시에 바쁘고 열심히 살려고 한다. 그렇게 살면 참 힘들겠지 몸이. 아무튼
that laugh was such a like I'm doing fine laugh, like a fake laugh.
앞으로도 열심히 살고 또 열심히 바쁘게 살 것이다.
It's crazy how small he is, bro. Here, like not like just like his entire. Like, he's so young, Like, my boy's really filled out over the years, actually. When idols release new music, they host fan signs in multiple provinces to sign albums and interact with their fans directly.
2013년 6월 28일 진행했습니다. 저희가 드디어 첫 번째 팬 사인회를 했습니다.
Nice.
많은 분들이 와주셔서 편지도 주시고 하이파이브도 하고 정말 생각보다 너무 많은 분들이 와주셔서 너무 감사했다.
정말 팬분들이랑 1대1로 얘기를 하는 시간이 너무 좋았다. 아미 분들이 저희랑 얘기를 하는 걸 좋아하셔서 정말 기분이 좋았다.
우와.
안녕하세요.
한 번도 안 해봤어요.
You know what? So they do fan signs, right? I know a lot of groups do, but when BTS comes back, I wonder if they'll do stuff like this, because it's like they've reached such a level of success now that, like, would it even be possible to do something like a fan signing event? Because there's going to be so many like I guess there would be a limit to how many people would be allowed into the event or whatever. But like just that idea, right? There's so many, like it would be crazy. Like there'd be so many people. Like would that even be, it would have to be highly regulated, right? It would surely have to be highly regulated because at this point, like BTS has like a massive fan base as well as like they have a lot of obsessed, you know, toxic fans. There's a word for them in Korean and in the K-pop thing, but I forget what the word is. Like there's a lot of those people with BTS. Unfortunately, BTS has the largest portion because their fan base is so large. I would say they're the group with like the largest portion of toxic fans. I'm not calling the fan base toxic. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying because the whole fan base is large, the percentage of toxic fans within the fan base is going to be larger as well. You know what I mean? So even if 3% of BTS's fan base are toxic and like obsessed and like commit crimes basically to be in the same vicinity of BTS, 2% of like billions of people is a lot of people. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate, but the bigger a group gets, the more they're going to have those kind of fans. Oh shit, sorry.
안녕하세요. 신기하네. 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 안녕하세요. 주빈이에요. 신기하다.
없습니다. 그래도 잘한 것 같아요. 굉장히 정말 축복받고 너무너무 운 좋고 내가 하고 싶고 내가 잘할 수 있고 내가 사람들한테 보여주고 싶은 거 삶을 살 수 있다는 게 정말 너무너무 축복받는 일인 것 같고 항상 감사하고 팬분들께 정말 기쁘게 해야 될 것 같아요.
But they're so small in these clips. It really contextualizes how young they were. BANGTAN. July 25th, 2013. This is literally all their first year of their debut. So actually, this is like the first month. Didn't they debut in like June or July of 2013? Because I remember because when I streamed my reaction to the BTS guide, that was the day, that was their anniversary. It was all coincidental that I ended up streaming the starting BTS content on that day. But I remember that was the day, that was their anniversary. So what was the date on that? Let me see. So 13th of June, when was this? This is a week after they debuted. A week, literally a week after. Okay. Oh, that was clean. Yeah. Was the Jimin the one that ran on their backs as well? It's like, I can do a roly-poly.
아쉬운 소식 들었는데 막방이라고. 빌딩곡으로 이제 활동 마무리하면서 스스로들한테 점수를 준다면.
Okay, so this is all their debut stuff, like their debut campaign finishing off, I guess.
수고하셨습니다. 네, 그 전에 2013년 가장 핫한 신인 그룹 방탄소년단이 성공적인 데뷔를 마치고 오늘 굿바이 무대를 가진다고 합니다. 그럼 함께 불러볼까요? 굿바이 방탄소년단.
Bulletproof is such a banger though. Bulletproof is such a banger. The sound of the hat. I don't know if it's the sound of a hat, but it sounds like that. I think it's just the beat kind of coinciding with the hat moving, but beautiful. Honestly, I would say BTS has probably had my favorite, like out of all the debut albums I've listened to, BTS is probably my favorite debut album, I would say. Like it's between. Yeah, I'm gonna say BTS is my favorite debut album that I've listened to. I think it's just such a professional quality album. First of all, even Stray Kids that are who I love, I feel like their debut album is still lacking in some ways that BTS's debut album it was not. Like obviously, just as I'm just looking at purely as through the context of like debut albums, BTS, I don't know, it was just so professionally done. Just felt so high quality.
다들 기다리고 있는데
네. 열심히 해서 다음 앨범으로.
2013년 7월 28일 제이홉의 로그로 이제 우리의 첫 앨범 Too Cool for School의
Too Cool for School, yeah. That was a good album, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
아 믿기지가 않는다. 지금 다음 앨범 준비에.
It's probably my favorite album that they've like out of all the BTS albums I've checked out so far, which I've only checked out the first 3 or 4. I would say Too Cool for School is probably my favorite one so far.
화보 촬영에 정말 요즘 몸이 한계인 게 굉장히 슬플 정도로 바쁘게 타이트한 스케줄을 소화하고 있는데 너무너무 즐겁고 행복합니다. 차에서도 가사 쓰고 화보 촬영 중에도 가사 쓰고.
Oh, here we go. Sugar's little workaholic ness being revealed. My boy was a workaholic from day one.
방탄소년단은 앨범 준비에 들어가면
I wonder what it says about me that all my favorite members in the groups are the workaholics. Like think about it. BANGTAN's my bias in Stray Kids, workaholic. Sugar, Yoongi, August, whatever you want to call my boy, is my bias in BTS, workaholic, right? I still don't have a bias in 80s, but Hongjun, who's one of my favorite members right now, workaholic. I don't know what it says about me that all my favorite like members and the ones I connect with are all workaholics, to be honest.
스케줄이 됩니다. 연습에만 몰두할 수 있도록 다른 활동은 거의 정지하죠. 그렇다면 시간 단위로 경제적 가치를 창출하는 방탄소년단 입장에서 큰 손해가 아니냐고 생각하시는 분들이 계실지도 모르겠습니다. 처음 방탄소년단 멤버들과 만났을 때부터 지금까지 우리가 가장 중요하게 생각했던 게 스스로 부끄럽지 않을 수 있을 만큼의 완성도였고 이것을 위해서는 어떤 손해도 감수할 수 있다는 마음가짐.
I like that mindset where he's like, do whatever you want. Send any messages or themes in your songs that you want, but make it good quality. That's all I ask from you. I think that's a really good perspective. It's like, you know, you could have the best messages that work perfectly in the context of like the industry, but if it doesn't sound good or look good, then what's the point of it anyway? So I like how Bang Seuk, I think his name is, he's like, look, do whatever you want, but if it's good, we'll release that shit, and it is what it is. Like that's good as long as it's good quality. Like I like that like process and the method of, you know, how like, you know, his method of leadership is really interesting actually.
으로 준비에 임합니다. 결국 우리가 함께 해온 일들은 우리가 앞서 했던 것보다 조금 더 나은, 조금 더 완성도 높은 콘텐츠를 선보이기 위한 여정이었습니다.
Always get better.
You think just that from inside, mentally. But if it's still feeling.
Bro, what does Jungkook always look so serious? I mean, like when he's serious, he always looks so confused.
2013년 8월 16일 정국의 로그. 업무 시간을 비로 늘어났다.
Are you ready? Let's go.
This is like 3 months after debut.
누구나 지금 감기에 걸려 있다. 고통스럽다. 힘들다. 솔직히 힘이 많이 드는데 힘이 많이 들어서
Oh, so he was sick during this, or after this he got sick. I don't know.
열심히 해서
So he was sick during this performance then. That's what it sounds like.
기대도 좋다. 2013년
That's surprising. I did not catch that while watching this when I first watched it on Patreon. Clean.
여기 약간 일단 청 테이프에 맞춘 거거든요. 아까는.
뭐가 문제요?
그러니까 청 테이프에 맞췄는데.
그게 지금 뭐 하는 거야 지금? 여정구, 네가 잘했는데 다른 사람 다 틀렸다 생각하니까.
Oh shit.
너 왜 그래?
잘해. 사람 두시고.
Oh shit.
뭐 추가 안 해서.
Oh, we got trouble in paradise. Okay, let's. Oh, this is getting tense.
아닙니다. 리더라고 뭐 내가 뭐 너한테 뭘 한 적 있냐?
빨리 찍자.
제가 조금만 오른쪽으로 가면 되나요?
그래 조금만 가면.
Oh, they were tricking him. They were being assholes to him on purpose. I was like, no, because I was low-key thinking, I'm like, why are they being pricks to him right now? Like, you know, you could explain it to him in a more thing way, but they were pranking him. I was gonna say, this doesn't seem on brand for BTS. Like why are they being assholes to him right now? They weren't being assholes, but they were kind of being a bit like harsh with him. So I was like, okay, it's because they were planning this. Because these men are usually simps from Jungkook. I was so surprised that they were talking to him like that. Nah, this is adorable, bro. You don't realize how young he is until shit like this.
감독님도 낚은 거예요. 연기가 진짜인 줄 알았어요. 감독님도 다 연기하신 거예요?
No, because I was low-key gonna jump in and start a punch on with that director because I was getting heated. I was trying to hide my heatedness but like I was about to jump in and have a punch on with that cunt. Thank God it's a joke.
비에로그. 오늘은 뮤비를 찍었다. 세트장이 정말 마음에 들었다. 개인적으로 노멀 드림 때보다 더 때깔 있어 보인다. 가서 제일 좋았던 게 밥차왜?
He's like, I'm happy about the feed, bro. No, Taeyong is me, bros.
하지만 빨리 우리가 뮤비를 찍고 어떤 모습으로 나오게 될지 궁금한 건 마찬가지인 것 같다.
This mushroom haircut that they've given Jimin, I swear.
파이팅 넘치게 연습을 하고 있기 때문에
Why do these K-pop idols love this mushroom haircut? I swear.
더 열심히 할 수 있게 되는 것 같다. 지지 않겠어. 2013년 8월 23일 진해 로그 끝.
저희 방탄 소년단이 데뷔한 지 100일이 된 날.
이번 앨범에서 정말 더 한번 빵 터뜨려서
약간은 부담감이 있기도 하는 것 같고.
Oh, okay. We're getting into that interview next time. Okay, I've seen snippets of that interview where they say, "Oh, why are you wearing makeup? Makeup's for girls." Absolute bullshit stuff, right? Those fucking dumb hip hop guys. I remember I saw snippets of it. I was heated as when I first saw it. So I think we're gonna get a bit more into that interview. Honestly, one of these days I want to watch the full interview just to fully get the full context of it. I just know I'm going to be absolutely hated the full interview if I watch it. That's why I'm not doing it. Because I might just have a punch on my computer at that point. I saw that's like a 10-15 second clip of that interview, and I was so heated in my reaction. Did that a while ago though. House of Cards. Interesting. I thought he sprayed that in Taeyong's face. I mean, eyes. But you know what's the craziest thing about like this thing? You know, fuck their rise to fame. Don't worry about that. But it's about the gains that Jungkook has had in the last 10 years. My man was a stick. My man was like a stick. At least the other members like Jim and stuff, you can see like the beginnings of muscles and stuff. But Jungkook was an absolute stick, and now my boy is jacked. They're like the most jacked member. Like, imagine how much bigger he's going to be when he comes back from the military as well. It's always Yoongi that's annoying Jin, I've realized. He becomes such a brat when it's just Jin and him. Bro, I don't know how anyone can think that Yoongi was like an emotionless dude, because every clip I've seen of Yoongi, like, especially from the early days, that man's always smiling and joking around. Like, how could anyone think he's a serious, like, cold-hearted, stone-faced dude? Because he's always smiling and laughing and joking. I don't know how anyone could think that. I think my favorite scene, I guess, of this was the Jungkook being tricked for the birthday thing. No, because I was about to throw hands. Like, I love Namjoon, don't get me wrong, but I was about to throw hands with my boy because, like, how are you going to treat Jungkook like that? But it was a joke. And I assumed that because I was like, what? No, they wouldn't treat him like even if Jungkook was in the wrong, they would try to gently explain what their point of view is. Like, you know, so I was surprised by that. But I was like, okay, Namjoon, do I have to show you how to behave right now? But no, he was just joking the whole time, which I'm happy about, because yeah, I'm happy about that. But yeah, I was low-key about to, I really did want to punch on with that director for like a second or two. I was like this close. I was like, bro, if I saw you in real life, I'd drop you. Nah. But it was all a joke, so, which I should have assumed, because they're all simps for Jungkook. There's no way they would like talk to him like that, especially when they know he's at this stage. He's he's very young. I think he's like 16 or some shit at this stage. You know what I mean? Something like that. Anyway, that was my reaction to the Rise of BANGTAN Chapter 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.